Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Heidi McIndoe. I am a registered dietitian, and today we are talking about the rainbow diet. And no, it has nothing to do with Kermit the Frog, though I do love him. All right, so like I said, I'm Heidi, talking about the rainbow diet. Just a couple things before we get started. I do have the chat open. So if anyone has any questions or comments, you can certainly ask them at the end, but I have no problem answering any questions or comments as we go along. So as you know, if you think of something, feel free to pop it in the chat. Not like the little, I know there's a Q&A section. I can't see that, but I can see the chat. All right, so let's get started. So our agenda today, this is what the rainbow diet is all about. We are going to be talking about phytonutrients. We're going to talk about what foods contain them, what they can help prevent or reduce your risk of, and then talk about some recommendations about making sure you get them in your diet or in your eating plan. I hate the word diet. To me, a diet is something you eventually go off of. You go on it and go off of. So I'm all about healthy eating plans that you just continually follow because, it's not like you want to be healthy today, but not tomorrow. So you stop eating healthy. It's a lifelong sort of goal. All right, so what are phytonutrients? Who's heard of phytonutrients before? So phytonutrients, and feel free to pop them in the chat. Let me know if you know of them, what they do for you. We'll see where we're starting from. Phytonutrient, phyto is actually the Greek for plant. So what phytonutrients are plant-based nutrients. So they are only found in plants. So does salmon have phytonutrients? No, it has a lot of healthy nutrients, but no phytonutrients. How about yogurt? No, again, super healthy, no phytonutrients. Doesn't mean you don't want to include them in your diet, especially salmon. Salmon is nice and colorful since we're talking about a rainbow. So phytonutrients, like I said, they are plant-based nutrients. They are naturally occurring compounds, and they are basically, so I always describe them as sort of something that has health benefits above and beyond what we're getting from, say, our vitamins and our minerals and our carbs and our protein and our fiber and all of that, and our healthy fats. So these are just, like I said, just above and beyond more benefits to our health. Back in the early days of medicine, and I'm talking super early, they frequently used plants and herbs for healing. And that's what we're sort of looking at right now, is how these plants and herbs can be used in terms of our health, in improving our health, maintaining our health. So phytonutrients are responsible for the color of our food. So that's why we're talking about the rainbow. They also provide flavor and odor, in addition to these health benefits that I'm going to be talking about. So that's, and I always, I sort of explain phytonutrients is that they're color coded, and I will explain more of that in a little bit. But basically, what makes garlic smell like garlic? That's a phytonutrient. What makes kale and leafy greens maybe a little bit bitter? Those are phytonutrients. So lots of purposes or lots of ways we see how these phytonutrients act. So phytonutrients are grouped together according to both their chemical structure and their functional property. So how they are formed and what they do for us. So this is just a little example of the breakdown. And you can see, yeah, so we are color coded. We are eating the rainbow because different nutrients, and this does include some vitamins and minerals, but right now we're just looking at those phytonutrients, which are usually the first words in these lists that you may or may not recognize. Um, but we are looking at, are we getting carotenoids from our greens? No, we're not. We need to eat orange for the carotenoids. Are we getting resveratrol from our reds? No, we need the blues for the resveratrol, blues and purples. Um, are we getting allicin from the yellows? No, we need the whites. And yes, in this sense, we are looking at white as a color. So we want to make sure, it's great if you love red peppers and you eat red peppers every day and you get all those anthocyanins that you need. But if you are eating red peppers to the exclusion of yellow squash and orange carrots, then you're missing out on those carotenoids and other nutrients. All right. There are many, many, many types of phytonutrients. In fact, there's tens of thousands that have already been identified, and we don't think we're done yet. But some of their names can be confusing because some of their names are similar. Some of the names are very long. These are not, you will not be tested on this. You do not need to know these names. End of the day, bottom line is eat all your colors and you'll get all these big words in your diet. But just so that if you hear them on the news, you read about them, you're familiar with them. Things like flavonoids, flavanols, proanthocyanidins, um, sulfides, terpenes, lectins. These are all the different phytonutrient types and specific phytonutrients that we're looking at. But again, you have no reason to remember those. I just like to share information with people. All right, so flavonoids are the largest group of phytonutrients. They are very beneficial in fighting inflammation. I was going to say inflation. That would be nice. Inflammation, and they are antioxidants. So when I'm talking about inflammation, it's not the inflammation you get, you bump your head, you get a bump. It's this internal inflammation that increases our risk of various diseases, heart disease, diabetes, things like that. So we want to make sure we're consuming foods, because there are foods that will do this, that can help reduce that inflammation. What are antioxidants? So obviously this isn't a tricky one. It's something that stops oxidation. What does that mean? So the example I always give people is, imagine you had a nice shiny bike and you left it outside and it rained and rained and rained and it got all rusty. So that rust is oxidation. Now, I am not in any way saying that the inside of your body rusts, but it has a negative, there are some negative, my gosh, reactions that occur inside your body that damage cells, that could damage cells. Things when you're exposed to, it could be, cigarette smoke, it could be pollution, it could be UV rays, but it could also be just day-to-day life. Digestion creates some reactions that can cause some oxidation. So we want to try and certainly avoid as much as we can exposure to things that are more oxidating, like I said, the smoke, pollution, things like that. But also making sure that we are consuming foods that can help counteract that, because we're not going to be able to prevent all cell damage, I shouldn't say all oxidation, all oxidative properties. But what we can do is protect ourselves and our cells by consuming these antioxidants. So we want to make sure we get these substances in our diet, in our eating plan, in our meals, in our snacks, whatever it might be. All right, so where are we finding these phytonutrients? So again, what did I say? It is a plant-based nutrient. Oh, I should have done a little quiz and not shown the answers and see what we came up with. But yeah, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes. So legumes are things like soybeans, peanuts, stuff like that, beans, spices, nuts, seeds. These are all places where we're going to find phytonutrients. So we want to get as many of them every day as we can. So now we'll just go through a few different kinds of these phytonutrients. All right, so first we've got the carotenoids. So carotenoids can be orangey slash yellowy kind of items. So we're thinking carrots, yams, cantaloupe, apricots. These are all rich with carotenoids. They can help reduce the risk of certain cancers. So how do we increase our carotenoid intake? So again, look at all these things. You could be adding orange pepper. So say, again, this is one of those color examples. Say you, this week in my house, we're having something on the grill and we're grilling peppers and onions to go with it. So yeah, I could buy all green peppers or all red peppers, but instead I buy orange, yellow, and red peppers. So we get all of those colors. I just don't like green peppers as much, which is why I don't buy them. But yeah, how can you incorporate more of these colors in? Getting this time of year or taking advantage of the different colors that come available throughout the seasons. Right now in the grocery store, mangoes are really seasonal. So getting mangoes is a great way to get some of that orange. The apricots are in season, so we're starting to get those. Oranges seem to always be sort of in season since we don't we don't grow any of them up here. So we want to try and get oranges. And in this sense, orange juice, or grapefruit juice, as long as it's 100% juice, you're going to get those same benefits from the juice as you would the whole fruit. What you're missing out on is the fiber, which is another key nutrient. So that's why we do encourage people to get whole fruits and vegetables as much as possible and limit your juice intake. Make sure it's 100% fruit juice, but limit that. So like half a cup, 3/4 of a cup a day. What else can we do? We can shred carrots onto a salad. We can shred carrots. What did I make the other night? Like a Mongolian beef, and you had to shred carrots into the sauce. So you don't even know you're eating them. So if you've got those particular eaters in your household, sometimes I'm not big on sneaking foods in, but sometimes we can just shred something in there and nobody will see. All right, lycopene. So lycopene has been shown to help reduce our risk of heart disease. So we're thinking reds and pink foods, watermelon, pink grapefruit, guava, tomato products. These are all great lycopene rich foods. Thing is, interesting fact with tomatoes. So the lycopene in tomatoes has actually been found to be more readily available, meaning your body absorbs more of it when it is in a cooked tomato product. So think tomato sauce, pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce, crushed tomatoes in a can. So yeah, fresh tomatoes are awesome. Get those fresh tomatoes, put them in your salad, roast them up, do whatever you do with them. But feel don't feel like you're being less than healthy if you choose to open up a can of tomato sauce and put it in a recipe. That's actually beneficial in another way. So yeah, definitely you want to get those red and pink things in. I just cut up some watermelon myself right here to have for lunch. So we're getting into that watermelon season. So lots of ways to get those reds and pinks. All right, purples and blues. So those anthocyanins, grapes, blueberries, cranberries, raspberries, blackberries, purple tomatoes, eggplant. You can see lots of purple cauliflower, or purple broccoli. No, purple cauliflower, sorry. Um, Lots of ways, red onions, whether you call it red or purple in this sense, it tends to have the more nutrients associated with the blue purple color. These have been shown to have anti-inflammatory and anti-tumor properties. So both beneficial. In addition, the blueberries are very high in a substance that helps promote brain health. So looking to reduce your risk of any kind of dementia, Alzheimer's. And again, keep in mind, I'm saying lower your risk, reduce your risk. We're not looking at cure-alls or preventatives, 100% preventatives. We're looking at lowering our risk of something, and that's the best we can do. And why not do it? So if there's 5 things that can put you at risk for any certain condition, if you can eliminate any of those 5 things and lower your risk, then why not do it? And I think by choosing a variety of foods to do that is the most delicious, enjoyable way of reducing your risk. And it's certainly very, very easy. Sulfides. So these are, like I said, white is definitely a color in today's world and in our little presentation today. Garlic and onions. So these help to strengthen the immune system. I know, people, I don't know if this was an old wives' tale or what, where I heard this, but people wearing cloves of garlic around their neck, not just to fight off vampires, but to help prevent them from getting sick. So someone somewhere knew that garlic was beneficial, back before research was done on these kinds of things. But yeah, these one again, for me, these ones are super easy things to add. Chop these, mince these up. You can saute anything and put these in a pan till they just start to brown a little or get golden. They add a delicious flavor. Even I don't like biting into hunks of onions. I like to grate my onions in things or really mince them up fine. So again, for those particular eaters you may be serving, nobody even needs to know they're biting into one of these, but you can get them in the dish and they are delicious and nutritious. And chocolate. Yes, chocolate. It comes from a plant. So yeah, we've got these phytonutrients in the plant. This comes from the cacao tree. Oh, all right. We've got some questions. I just will the presentation be sent out? So will the presentation be sent out? I don't know about that, but I know it will be on the YouTube channel. So that may be where you can watch it. That's what I was told. Plant-based nutrients and non-plant-based nutrients are needed to eat healthy. To what extent should a diet be plant-based and non-plant-based? So good question. I wouldn't overly stress about this. I guess I try to encourage, so here, okay, here, this may be helpful. So when I recommend what people eat, planning your meals, planning your day, whatever, I roughly picture a dinner plate. I always tell people about a quarter of the plate should be from protein-rich sources, a quarter from, grains, whole grains, starchy potatoes, things like that, and the other half should be fruits and veggies. So if we look at it that way, even though, yes, we could still get plant-based proteins, I would say if you are not wanting to eliminate animal-based foods altogether, I would say at least focus on getting those half of your plate of fruits and veggies, and a quarter of your plate from like the whole grains and starchy veggies. And then that other quarter of your plate, that can be your proteins, whether they be non-plant based or plant-based. That way you're still getting a wide variety of plant-based foods. And then you could alternate meals, you could alternate days, whatever. And as long as you're getting enough protein, some days it can be plant-based and some days it could be animal-based. So hopefully that was helpful. So chocolate, yes, one of my favorite of the plant-based nutrients here, rich in those flavonoids, uh, quercetin, and some other substances. I cannot speak today, can I? Um, Offers cardiovascular protection. Now, but here's the kicker when it comes to chocolate. So the flavonoids are only found in the cocoa solids or the pure cacao part of the chocolate. So when we are looking at, say, a chocolate bar, uh, there typically is cacao in it. Sometimes there's sugar added and milk added. We're not going to worry about if anything else is added right now. But the the richer, the deeper the chocolate, the higher the percentage of cacao, the more of the nutrients you're getting. So if you have a candy bar that is, 80% cacao, so a dark chocolate candy bar, then you are getting a good amount of those flavonoids. If, on the other hand, you're having, say, a milk chocolate, which I do love, it has a much lower percentage of cacao because the cacao is being replaced, part of it, with the milk and the sugar to make it a little bit sweeter and a little bit more palatable for some people. So you can see the difference from unsweetened cocoa to dark chocolate. I've actually seen dark chocolate candy bars that are as high as I think Trader Joe's and maybe even I got it at Whole Foods have some that are up into the 90s. I am not a dark chocolate fan, but if you find a good dark chocolate, there is one, again, I want to say it's Trader Joe's, but I can't remember, and I don't have the package right here. But if you are more of a milk chocolate fan, and you are trying to get more of the dark chocolate, do some experimenting. There are some, I wouldn't go in the baking aisle and get that unsweetened cocoa. That's not so good. But in the candy bar aisle, look for those high dark chocolate, high percentage dark chocolate bars. There are some out there that really are made so well that they somehow take that bitterness away without adding extra milk and sugar. So we're still getting that high percentage of cacao, translation flavonoids, and it tastes pretty good too. And the thing with a rich, deep, dark chocolate too, the idea you shouldn't be eating necessarily a whole giant candy bar of it. The idea is, you have a couple ounces to get those benefits. And because it's so rich, uh, and in some cases bitter, that's enough for some people. Green tea. All right. So tea, yes, tea is a plant. So green tea has some great flavonoids in them. This is one that I struggle with. I've never been I think I'm one of those super tasters. I don't know. I don't like bitter things. So I don't like tea, but I'm working on it. These have those antioxidant properties that help reduce free radicals. Remember before I was talking about oxidation? Free radicals are the bad guys that do some of that oxidation. So we want to make sure we're getting foods that get rid of them. So that will help prevent the oxidation and the cell damage. Also some anti-inflammatory properties and some lowered risk of cardiovascular diseases. So if you like tea, go for it. I like tea. Obviously, you can drink it hot. You can drink it iced. Try some of the different flavored teas. Now, you do want to make sure with tea, though, herbal teas aren't necessarily the same. So you want to make sure, you need to make sure the tea includes actually some, because herbal teas aren't always technically tea. So you want to look at the ingredient list and make sure either green tea, white tea, or black tea is one of the first ingredient, or should be the first ingredient. Some of the herbal teas don't have actual tea in them. So you just want to check for that. And you can also make tea and use it as the liquid in a smoothie. What else can you do with tea? I was just thinking of something. You can flavor your tea. Say you like the herbal teas because of their flavors. You can always enhance your tea by, infusing it with water, things like that. Decaf calf makes no difference, so you can get decaffeinated and still get those benefits. So why should we eat a rainbow? So I think I've explained that a little bit here. I've talked about a lot of the benefits that these phytonutrients and all their colors help fight against. help protect us against. But look at these other, all these colorful things also contain some of those other nutrients that we're more familiar with. So when we have the browns and the maroons from those beans, there's also fiber, which helps keep our digestive tract running smooth and helps lower our risk of heart disease. Those red items also contain vitamin A, very beneficial for healthy skin. Those orange foods, I mean, not just oranges, rich in vitamin C, which helps boost our immune system. The dark leafy greens have iron and folate, great to keep our blood strong and healthy. Vitamin K, again, very helpful for blood clotting and keeping healthy cells. Those white items, great antioxidants helping to kill germs. So we not only want to get all these colors because of all their phytonutrients, but also just their other just baseline nutrients that they all contain. So these are just, again, I think I've addressed most of these, but the reasons we want to eat all these colorful foods is because the phytonutrients has been shown in research to reduce our risk of cardiovascular disease, certain cancers, type 2 diabetes, neurodegenerative diseases, and they can help boost our immune system. And again, keep in mind, just like that last slide showed, you're not only getting these phytonutrients when you eat all these colors to help reduce your risk of all these diseases, you're getting all the other benefits that come along with those colorful foods. So the recommendation is basically aim to get about a half a cup, 2 half-cup servings, I should say, from each color per day. Now, the ones you'll notice, some of them have little asterisks or little crosses by them. The asterisk, it's a much smaller serving size, is about 1/8 of a cup. The ones with the little, I don't know what that symbol is called. I call it a little cross. Those ones, the serving is about a teaspoon. And if you look in the chart, it's like spices, chili powder, cocoa powder, things like that. So this may sound overwhelming. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. I have to get 10 half-cups or 10 servings a day. But just think about each meal. What can you add? What colorful thing can you add to each meal? If you are making scrambled eggs in the morning, can you add some chopped tomatoes and spinach to it? If you are having yogurt in the morning, can you add some strawberries and blueberries to it? For a snack, if you're going to have a snack of, say, I don't know, crackers and peanut butter, can you add some, or maybe swap, well, crackers, if it's a whole grain cracker, we might be getting some benefits there, but can you put some raisins on it, or, some cut up fruit on it? So think of going through the day, how can you add color to each meal? You can sort of make it a little game. And that is it. This is a little survey. If you want to take it, let us know what you thought of this presentation. And now, if anyone has any more questions about anything I said, like I said, I've got the chat open, so I'm happy to address any questions or comments that you might have. But I do thank you for joining me. You are very welcome. Oh, excellent question. Excellent question. Yes. If you buy fresh, freezing does not do anything to these nutrients. So yeah, so you can either buy frozen or buy fresh and freeze it. And actually these nutrients, nothing actually destroys them, but what can happen is thinking of things like if we're boiling our carrots or boiling our broccoli, these are sort of in line with, well, okay, remember I said how these nutrients are responsible for the color. So if you're boiling broccoli and you ever notice the water is green after, What do we think is causing that? What makes that water green? It's those nutrients that used to be in the broccoli. So freezing does not damage that at all. But what we want to do is look for ways to prepare produce. Oh, and I was going to say, so a lot of these phytonutrients and vitamins as well are water soluble. That's why they get leached out into the water. So you want to make sure that you're cooking in a way that retains that color. I am not one who likes my vegetables al dente. I do like them soft. But when I roast them, there's no water involved. When I steam them, there's basically the water, they don't touch the water. So when I steam them, my broccoli is bright, bright, bright green, but I steam the heck out of it. So it's still soft, which I like. So yeah, just look for cooking methods that keep the color, roasting, steaming, quick sauteing, grilling. Those are all great ways where water is not introduced. So the nutrients will not be leached out. So they will be saved in that food. Does cooking decrease the potency of the food? No, not really. No, just like I said, just like sort of what I was saying, the way you cook, if it's a water-based cooking method and the nutrients can be leached out into that water, then yes, that could decrease the potency. But if you're cooking in a manner that the nutrients have nowhere to go, then you should be fine. And I've even had people say, well, I like to boil my veggies and I'll just save the cooking water and put it in my soup. Fine, if that works for you. I'd just rather eat my nutrients in my veggies. That's why I'm eating them. Part of the reason I eat them because I like them too. Um, so yeah, sure, you are very welcome. Those both those questions, really good questions. Thank you. All right. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. Let's see if I'm missing one. Nope, nope. All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of your day. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining me. Mhm.